I like that
Or
one.
four,
It's
excuse me.
pretty. I want more. I know,
Either
right?
way. Other watches on the upper end give you things like altitude, pacing, distance, laps. So we do heart rate really, really well, but we also do multiple sport types of metrics, whether you're into alpine climbing, cycling, swimming, you name it. We have a watch for you, right? So to answer your question, the equipment we use out there on the floor is good. I mean, Ryan and Janelle spend a lot of money on equipment, so they're trusting that it's going to do its job. And it does, if the user produces the right kind of input into it, right? Are you working hard enough? And I've just done enough workouts on the ellipticals to know that 30 minutes on the cardio, the elliptical may tell me that I burn 350 to 500 calories in 30 to 40 minutes. It's a pretty broad range, men to women, old to young, but in general. So I'm thinking, awesome, I'm gonna go treat myself. This is the most popular, but it's also the most depressing. So mocha fropa, whatever it is you drink, 190 calories for a cafe mocha, and this is straight from their website, right? 400 calories for a white chocolate mocha, that's a good one.
Wow.
350 calories for the 3-pack, because they always try to upsell you from one, right?
3.
And I never have one. 480 for a pumpkin scone. Yeah,
Wow.
kind of depressing.
Wow.
What does that mean for you? Really, because that piece of equipment gave you an estimate, usually it assumes you're a 150-pound genderless being, is kind of what I've heard as the equations they use. And they call it good enough. But if your workout is needing to be better than good enough, you need to know what you're putting in your body and what you're burning during your workout. So you may only have burned 200 to 350 calories because of your lack of intensity. What's that mean? About
I can't
30 to
have none of that
45
stuff.
more
Sorry.
minutes of exercise.
Sorry.
Don't like that. And you can have that stuff. Well, you can, but just know that there's a cost for everything we do, right? You know, we love wine, so for every glass of wine, that's another 25, 30 minutes of exercise. It's got to be done. I was most depressed because the pumpkin scone was my favorite. I used to eat like 2 a week. It's brutal. So when I saw it,
2 a week? Seems worse.
I mean, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel so bad. But that's where using something that gives you your personal information, that listens to your personal fingerprint, that's where you're really going to start to know, hey, did I really earn a trip to Star or wherever, Dutch Brothers, whatever it is you want, do you know? So more learning with the product, we need to continuously evaluate ourselves for progress. Whether it's fitness testing within our watches, talking to a trainer, or just looking at our performance. For example, do a walk for 30 minutes on a treadmill in zone 4 that was hard, might be easy a month later, and you're now in zone 3. Or staying in zone 4, your time got faster. Those are metrics that you can start to look at. It's not quick, and it's not instantaneous. I know we like that, especially against smartphones. I want the answer and I want it now. Fast food, it's gotten even faster. You know, it's almost ready before you order it, and you're on your way, but not with fitness. It takes a long time to earn it, and no time at all to undo it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So evaluating yourself is something that we have to do all the time. I mentioned fitness testing. We have in our FT60, which I'll talk about a little bit, has a fitness test. It's an estimated VO2 max test. And we do that at rest, but because our product is as accurate as it is, it listens to that heart rate at rest and the variability, the time between your heartbeats, right? Everyone's, depending on your level of conditioning, is going to behave a certain way. Depending on your level of stress, it will behave a certain way. And so by listening to that, doing thousands of test studies on fit or fat, advanced or beginner individuals, we can give you an estimated VO2 max or fitness test result so that you can track your progress week by week, right? I'll talk about our iPhone app that actually has that in there as well. So if you got an iPhone, just get a transmitter, turn your iPhone into a $200 training computer essentially.
Right.
And you can buy that fitness test on a monthly or every other month basis. But again, you know, talking to trainers that have been through this that can help you guys evaluate that progress, very, very important. I was hoping this would show up. Okay, good. I don't know if you can see that, but to tie it all in tracking and monitoring, I wish it was bigger. PolarPersonalTrainer.com is our web service that we have. So for the FT7 models on up, they work with PolarPersonalTrainer.com. You can actually go on there right now. You don't have to have a watch, but you can get this. Create an account for yourself. If you go into Polar Personal Trainer, it'll have you sign up, take all your stats, your metrics, height, age, weight, gender, and you've got your profile built. It's just waiting for a watch to upload information to. And what will happen is that you'll start, this is just the month of September, it will start to populate. Every day in red is an exercise day, right? It will allow you to say, hey, let's click on that day and see. Actually, this was the long walk. It says running, but that was a long walk for an hour and 23 minutes. This was a cycling day, hour and 19 minutes. So you can click on that, expand it, evaluate your data, and say, hey, from here to here, if I open it up and start to look at the data that's inside, I'll start to see things like this. Durations of exercise, average heart rates, max heart rate, calories, distance, pacing, training load, a summary of the time I spent in all the zones, right? This was a running day, 39-minute run day. And so the color coordinated zones that I showed you earlier, same zones right here. And the red line is heart rate curve, so it shows you where your body behaved during that workout. You can say, oh gosh, what was that spike about? Oh, that was a spike in speed as well, so my heart rate should have gone up. And
Dog.
you start to, dog, exactly. Cops, whatever.
Hopefully it's dog.
But you start to really get a snapshot of what your body is doing throughout your exercise, right? I went to the training benefit, and these are all the tabs that you can click on. Click on the training benefit. Again, there's that tempo training message that I peeled off and showed in the other slide. Again, one of 17 messages. So the sport zones, it helps me understand what zone I was in, what percentage of intensity, where my heart rate was on that curve, how much time I spent in that zone. So I can start to look at that and say, all right, tempo training, more of my time is spent in zone 4, some in zone 3. I peaked into zone 5 for 33 seconds. That was the dog. Or, warm up, and spend too much time in a warm up. But now you start to learn about yourself and what your body's doing. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Is that going to be the same application for the wristband, or is it a different one?
It will be different.
It will be
Similar but different, and I can't speak on it yet. I'm actually flying to corporate this week to learn about it. So we have a whole new platform that's more what's the right word, compatible with the iPhone platforms, and it's called Polar Flow. And so our new software will actually be replacing this. So everything I'm showing you
okay.
will still be active for a while, but we're going to slowly transition into a newer, more user-friendly application. So if that looks confusing, don't worry, it'll get better. I look at it every day, so I feel comfy with it, but when you get in, you'll see different things you can click on. The overview, which is the prior screen, the curve, which was the curve we talked about, a map if you have GPS, data, which is more of a numbers page.
Are you charging for the membership?
All free. Yeah, free there, free for the new service. Like I say, you'd be able to go on to that web server, sign up for free. You would just need to purchase something, or if you already have something, it will work with that.
When you're talking about the VO2 max, that's just a calculated
Correct.
thing? Okay.
It is.
It's not an actual...
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, within our watches, it's strictly calculated. And it gives you a number. The accuracy, again, because we've done just gazillions of tests on people, we're within plus or minus 4 to 5% of a true VO2 max test done in a clinical setting. Say you go do a clinical test. You can actually go back to the watch and program that number in.
Okay.
So you don't have to do the test per se if you did another application out there. So when you do that, it makes your caloric expenditure a little bit more accurate.
Right.
So it makes sense to do that if you have a watch that allows for that tech. I keep pointing there because these are the basic models. Those is where the fitness test starts in. And we'll cover the models in a little bit. Does that answer your question? Okay. This is another screen. Can take a whole nother lecture, but this is what we call training load. So if you were getting into a program and said, okay, I'm tired of just spinning my wheels. I want to know over time, months, years what my body is doing, how hard I'm working, am I recovered enough for my next day's training, and that's what this shows. For example, you know, green, obviously green means go, yellow means caution, red means, hey, maybe back off. So what this reflects is a day of exercise. Maybe that day I peaked at, you know, upper zone 3, dipped into zone 4. It was a pretty medium intense day. My body's in recovery is what the downward line means. And it says, hey, avoid high intensity, so I shouldn't have done what I did the next day. It's a guide and a recommendation. So if I felt great, I slept great, I ate well, I can push my body into the higher zones and maybe only take a few days recovery. That's where you start to learn and you know. I can't say do or don't, I can recommend, but if you say, hey, I feel great, push it, see how your body responds. From this peak, I needed to rest a couple days. Once my recovery hit into the green zone, I was ready for more training, right? I have what we call an ambassador. His name is Max King. He's the nation's best trail runner, 50 miles and under. The guy is a machine. So we got him on the product, and he was using, you know, the GPS based. And when he first started out, it was just red. It was just recovery to the next day's training, red, red, red. He was just insane with his intensity and volume of training load. Well, the cool thing about our software is it actually learns about you, and it started to learn after about 3 months, hey, Max is pretty good at this. He doesn't need much rest. The whole graph shifted up, so now his intensity was in the yellow and the green, and then the red was truly a red day for him. So it will learn about you, which is a nice built-in piece of the software. When you see the gray down below, our software has the ability to set up a program on Polar Personal Trainer, upload to your watch, and you would just follow along. So say you're not working with a trainer and you need guidance. Part of our website will actually allow you to build training programs. So if it's our upper end watches, you can build endurance-based programming for riding, running that are cookie cutter, or you can build your own and have it upload to your watch and you just follow along. And so when you go through your program, it will be a gray bar, and then if you actually did the program for that day, a red will be over the gray. And it'll then give you more detailed information. How did you perform in your program? Did you do what your goal was for that day or not? I wasn't very successful at following the program because every day is different for me.
So how do you transmit data from your heart monitor and the watch to the computer? I understand that you don't
Sure.
have it supported by iPhone. This application is not supported by iPhone.
A couple different ways.
You have Polar Beat, sports and fitness, but not the Polar Personal Trainer.
Right. So actually I'll touch on the Polar Beat in a minute. That's I was going to explain the watches first and then touch on the Polar Beat. We have a variety of ways of communicating with that software. The FT7, which are these guys, communicate via a flow link. Just plug it into your Mac or PC, set the watch on top, and it extracts all your information to the computer. When you work with the RCX3, the RCX5, the ones I use, it uses a wireless transmission. Right? You just plug it into your USB port, Mac, PC, hit connect, it's all uploaded to the internet. And then for our newer version, we have a rechargeable device that you plug into your computer to recharge. Well, this is the same way you communicate via the web, and all your data is uploaded. So we have a few different ways to communicate right now. The question, tell me your name one more time. What's your name? Tatiana. The question Tatiana asked, she's using the iPhone for with the Polar Beat, and I'll explain that in a sec. But that's an application where you can get a Bluetooth transmitter heart rate monitor, talk straight to your phone, but it automatically uploads to Polar Personal Trainer
So instead of a watch.
instead of a watch.
Wow,
Yeah,
but
I
you still
got
have to
it.
wear, you still have to wear the,
Chest strap.
okay.
So if you haven't gone online and set up your Polar Personal Trainer account, do that, and then go back into the Beat, and it'll link, and then every time you work out, it's automatically waiting for you right there. So, pretty neat. I love that. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I love it for trainers, and you'll see why in a minute. So, this is, I try not to be too pushy with sales, but just so you guys know the price of the product and what you get with each unit, I wanted to show you. So, they start less expensive than this, but to get caloric expenditure, they start at the FT4. It's coded, so you can have a transmitter on, you can have one, we could all have one. Once it's coded to us, we won't read each other's. So
Oh,
that's what
nice.
coded means. So you be in a big room, you're all getting your own heart rate signal. Very important. Men's and women's, colors and sizes. It has the soft strap, first model with calories, first model with the 5-button format. I'll show you that in a minute. Has a backlight, does not download the Polar Personal Trainer, so just basic, right? And it has what we call a single zone setup, right? So typically this is 65 to 85% of your max, right? If we remember the zone, you had all 5 zones, it kind of took a chunk on the side, it said 65 to 85%, that's my zone. I can customize it, I can tighten it, broaden it, shift it up, shift it down day to day. So if you had different objectives, you can still use this one as a good zone guiding unit. But it is limiting, but it's a great way to get started, right? Then we have the FT7. It goes from a single zone to a dual zone. It says, hey, you know what, if this were mine, Josh, you're roughly 68% of your max is right there. We're gonna say above that, you're in the fitness improvement zone. If I dip below that, it will actually say fat burn, so I'm in the fat burning zone. So we call that an energy pointer. The iPhone app has that as an upgrade. So the basic app is free, but you can purchase that energy pointer so you can say I'm in fitness improvement or fat burn. But remember, do I want to spend all my time in that fat burning zone? No, right. Being there is okay, but as long as you know you're in the upper end of the intensity zone for parts of your workout, and that one is 120. Then we have the FT60 shown here. This does kind of a 3-zone display. It also gives you the fitness test, so our fitness test starts, as well as what we call a STAR training program. Here, basically what that means is it can ask you, hey, what's your objective? Fitness improvement, weight loss, maximizing performance. Let's give you a weekly goal, and it'll say, hey, you need to burn this many calories, spend this much time in zone 1, this much in zone 2, this much in zone 3, and go. And every time you work out, it will kind of chip away at that goal. At the end of the week, it gives you a little symbol in the upper right corner like you've got mail, a little envelope, and you click on it, it says, hey, great job, you accomplished your objectives for that week, or you need to work harder.
So will
Yes.
it notify you during the exercise, you're in zone 1 for the, like duration, go to zone 2, like in 2
Not
minutes?
when to go, no.
No?
On the upper end models, you can program it to do that. But you can set alarms if you're outside of those zones. So if you're in the zone, the watch is silent. But if you're above that zone, it'll chirp at you a certain way. If you're below the zone, it'll chirp at you a certain way. So you know, I need to get in my prescribed zone. So the more you invest, rule of thumb, the more you invest in the watches, the more features it has, more zones you have, more programmability you have. So,
Does the wristband gonna do that the same way, or is it different?
no, not at all.
Not at all?
Yeah. So,
So the wristband is not gonna kind of tell you, okay, you're gonna have to move, or, because from different companies, they have that ability, they start kind of vibrating or
Mhm.
something.
yeah, we don't have vibrating technology in that new piece. She's asking about something called the Polar Loop. It's a wrist-based device. It's not out yet, but it's like a Nike Fuel Band or a Fitbit.
He has it on.
No, that's my road ID.
No?
So if I pass out right now, you can know to call my wife or my
Oh,
parents.
okay.
It's just, safe when you're on the road. But it's like an activity monitor that will upload to the Flow, that web service, and it can tell you steps you've walked, time that you've been active, time that you've been sedentary, sleep time. You can program in nutrition profiles. So from a roundabout way, you can track your goals and map your progress, so to speak, but not as a device that will beep at you and vibrate to say, hey, do this, or go here now. So this is our first version, and already there's a lot of good features we have that others don't. I only expect it to get better. So
Polar Loop.
the Loop, yeah. Polar Beat, yeah, we'll talk about the Polar Beat next. So this is the iPhone app. I'll breeze through it real quick, because how you guys doing? Feeling pretty good?
Yeah.
Any jumping jacks?
No.
Not yet.
All right.
Oh, wait.
We lost one. Hopefully she had a
Train,
client.
should go train a class, right?
That's what she said.
Good, okay. So the Polar Beat, how many of the smartphone owners, how many of them are iPhones? 4S or 5? Good, good. Everyone else Droid users or other phone? Okay, that's fine. You got the heart rate, so you're good.
But I know how to look at my heart rate, that's all I know how to do.
That's what, I'll help you with the rest. What's funny is that Droid actually has about 48% of global phone shares to Apple's 26%. So I don't know why Finland thought Apple should have been first on the list, but they did. So for now, it's the iPhone 4S and all the new 5s. And the reason being is that it incorporates the new Bluetooth technology, or Bluetooth Smart is what it's called. Basically, as I mentioned, what it does is it turns your phone into a essentially $200 to $230 price point training computer. You incorporate heart rate, you incorporate the GPS tracking built within the phone. You've got mapping profiles. When it uploads to Polar Personal Trainer, you have elevation profiles, summaries of your zones that you were in, summaries of speed versus heart rate, or pace versus heart rate, whether you're running or cycling. There's a lot of different things that it offers. I just pulled this from our introduction to us as sales folks, so it's a little more sales oriented, but the smarter coaching starting here with the lecture, utilizing our sport zones, training benefits, smart calories, all of those things that help separate Polar from others.
So it says that in-app purchases, is it extra money for the?
It is. So the Beat itself is free.
Yes.
If you get, as I mentioned, the energy pointer that shows you if your fitness improvement or fat burn, that's like I think a $199 one-time purchase, and then it's yours forever. The fitness test, a $299 purchase, that's a repeated purchase, so you'd only do it once a month, once every other month. Goal-oriented features, so you can say, hey, I want a calorie goal, a distance goal, a training benefit goal. That's another in-app purchase that unlocks it to do more. So
Where do we find them? Is it
in the App Store.
Application store? Is
Mhm.
it, so it's a different application that is kind of like a add-on to this application?
correct. So once you're actually in, so say you download the Beat from the store
Yeah,
and you sign in with all your information,
right.
there's actually a little icon that'll say upgrade. And you can click on it on your phone, and then it will take you to the App Store to purchase those extra add-ons. And then once you purchase them, except for the fitness test, they're in your phone and they're forever.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Great. Let's get that. So again, when you exercise with the phone, it automatically uploads to Polar Personal Trainer, and then it works with what we call the H7 Bluetooth transmitter. The really cool thing about this transmitter, so if you have a phone and you wanted to get started, $79, that's all you have to invest, so it immediately works with your phone via Bluetooth. The other neat feature that we added into this is a 5 kilohertz signal, which is the same transmission signal that all of our watches use. So it'll work with the fitness equipment. If you already have a Polar, it'll work with your Polar. So you can kind of do Polar and phone and fitness at the same time. $79, and that?
And the old ones?
Yeah, you got it.
So cool.
Can you talk more about the fitness equipment? I've been using this Precor, equipment, and what I found out when I created an account, it wouldn't track it from one fitness equipment to the other, like the treadmill to the whatever, the glider, the whatever.
Elliptical.
So are you talking about like a Precor app?
Yes,
Okay.
but you just said that I have this H7
Right.
monitor, and you
Right.
said that it's supposed to be kind of like talking to the
To the equipment.
equipment. How does it talk
It
to
should automatically sense you and show you your heart rate on the screen.
on the screen?
Correct.
But not your workout guide.
But it doesn't work.
By workout guide, you mean on the-
It's not compatible with the
training
Precor,
plan.
right? Is
Oh,
it
not the Precor
compatible?
app. Yeah, no, I see what
No?
you're saying. No, no. Yeah, I just learned about the Precor app, and I actually tried downloading it. I didn't play with it too much, but I haven't seen much compatibility with that yet. But that's up to them to say we embrace Polar's technology to make it work. I mean,
Okay.
it's there and ready for anyone, the Droid platform, Precor to use in their apps, whether they use it And that's the app. It'll work with the fitness equipment, but the app is a different
Okay,
bit of
got
technology.
it. So only
So,
the
yeah.
heart rate
Correct.
and,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. Okay, just a few screen snapshots of the design. This is in real-time workout. It'll show you the heart rate. This is percentage. A little triangle means if you touch it, it'll show you your actual heart rate number. Pace, you touch that, it'll go to speed, and it shows you zones 1 through 5 and where you're at within that objective of the day. A map of where you're at. Swipe the other way, it'll show you your target if you did the in-app purchase for a targeted goal.
Is this application updated?
It does, yeah, it's updated a couple times.
Because I use DigiFit from, you know, like the ratings.
Mhm.
DigiFit worked better than your,
Mhm.
you know, like home application, Polarbeat.
The
Yeah.
Polar Personal Trainer or?
No, Polarbeat.
Oh, the Beat,
one,
okay.
yeah. So DigiFit has the same features and
Mhm.
it goes through zones and everything else. But I've been working with it like for a year.
Mhm.
That's why I'm asking if this one is updated. Like
It
it's
is,
a
oh,
new
definitely.
version.
In fact, I would actually challenge you to really implement the Polarbeat and use it and compare it to DigiFit. I've done a lot of comparisons with folks on Runkeeper or Map My Run that do the same thing, that says we've got zones, we've got XYZ in it that's comparable with Polar.
Mhm.
When you start getting into everything that Polar offers, both with mapping, with your analysis of zone summary versus speed, zone summary versus pace versus time, the training benefit, all of those features start to help educate you and give you more tangible data to use for you personally versus generic numbers. Another thing we offer is this little square. If you touch it and slide it left to right, it'll show you where on the map you actually are and give you the breakdown of your stats. Of course, you can share it and tweet it, upload it to Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff. But you know, that's where a lot of folks that I put that challenge to, they come back and say this is pretty intuitive. You can choose your sport. So whether you're indoors, on the treadmill, elliptical, tell it, I'm on the treadmill, elliptical, I don't need GPS. You can, sorry for this, you can actually get a foot pod that's Bluetooth as well. So if you're indoors and you want to run on an indoor track and you don't have GPS, get a Bluetooth foot pod, $79, transmits your run speed, distance, cadence, and stride length
Wow.
to your phone.
Nice. Do you
So-
have something for indoor cycling to, you
Not
know,
yet.
like-
Not yet. We're working on something like that. I know some other companies might be, but not yet. Stay tuned.
Okay.